this is Vicki Gervicus at the Greater Gainesville Chamber, and I'm Director of Public Policy and Grassroots Engagement. And I'm delighted to have Ed Bielarski with us today. He is one of our candidates for the City of Gainesville mayor. And so he's going to introduce himself, and I've got some questions for him, and he's going to tell us all about this crazy election season. Jump right in, Ed.
Yeah, it's particularly crazy for me in that this is the first time I've run for public office, but it hasn't been as though I have not been in the public eye. I've spent really a career being in the public eye. I have 40 years of business experience. I am a former CPA, a bachelor's degree in accounting and a master's degree in strategic management. I've done a lot of work with startups, turnarounds, but most of the work has been in the utility arena, where most of you might remember me as the former GRU general manager. I was there until January of this past year, when, quite frankly, the folks on the commission got tired of me speaking truth to power. So I decided I was going to run for mayor where I could speak truth to the people. So that big truth is the city commission has an addiction to GRU customer money. After I bought out the biomass plant, the debacle of a contract that cost the city $2.5 billion, that's with a B, over 30 years. I bought that contract out and saved $1 billion, and we were able to operate that plant efficiently. And right now it's probably one of the low-cost providers. But after that time, the city commission needed to tighten its belt, but instead they asked you all to tighten your belt. So over the past 4 years, GRU has had to borrow or take from reserves $68 million to cover the over transfer that the city takes from GRU. It takes more than what GRU earns. It's unsustainable. I told them that. Here I am running for mayor.
Okay. All right. Let's jump in, and we'll give you an opportunity to amplify that and other points. First question is, what are you, and this is a good segue, what do you perceive are the 3 most important concerns facing Gainesville right now?
Yes, obviously, you can't have a utility that's on the brink and sustain so much of city services and have what you need as a city. So right now, people are opening up their bills from GRU and they're having sticker shock. Part of that is natural gas prices have went up astronomically, but GRU has been left with no flexibility. It has 5 plants that are over 40 years of age, largely due to the city commission's obsession to get to 100% renewable quicker than they technologically can. We spend on the biomass plant more than what we should have. We have solar feed-in tariffs, and they're transferring more money out of the utility. The utility is borrowing money it doesn't have, and they're wanting to take us on a path to get to 100% renewable, which could cost over $3 billion. So the other issue is there's a war that's going on against single-family zoning, single-family homes. I think density is a natural thing that will occur in the city. Density of housing at the inner core of the city. It's important to go vertical, but you don't change every single parcel of land so that by right you can build a quadruplex without owner occupancy. That's crazy. So there's a war going on, and we have 4 commissioners right now that are dead set, no matter what the community is saying, that they will go ahead and do it. So I have told folks in the forums and on my walks that I will do everything I can to revoke that if I became mayor. It might come with some cost, but we are a community of neighborhoods. We have a rich fabric of individuality within those communities, and people bought into those single family neighborhoods with a 30-year asset, the biggest investment of their life. We're not going to take that away from them. And of course, the other thing is this rush to get to 100% renewable, even though we don't have the technology. The utility actually did an integrated resource plan after the resolution was passed, and it would cost $3.5 billion based on today's technology. And it would require, get this, another biomass plant, because that's what you need to get the base load for the utility. Oh, and 770 megawatts of solar over 7,500 acres of land, or 10% of the land mass of Gainesville. So folks, please, we made the mistake with GREC. Let's not make more mistakes that affect generation upon generation.
Okay, very good. That leads into our next question very well, which is, what do you think the role of the mayor of Gainesville is?
Oh, he is to be the champion of the people. He has, I know this is probably not a good phrase, but the bully pulpit. Mm-hmm. Bullying isn't a good thing, but in politics, there's a bullying that is, pushing toward goals, trying to take action. I would lead the agendas. I would make sure that agendas were brought forward that had items on it that had passed the mustard of our subject matter experts, or that, frankly, just had enough public input. We talk about public input. We have public comment at each one of the meetings. A simple thing. Hey, how about having public comment before you have commission comment? I mean, it's really odd, right? You have your elected officials and they speak for, they're not limited to 3 minutes. They talk on, and they go through rounds and rounds. And you know what they think. And then you get up and you speak. Do you think they're listening? They're on their cell phones. They're looking at other things. They have their head down. I think that's just a discourtesy to the public. We need to get the public back in public comment and back in public service and back at City Hall.
Okay, very good. This gives you an opportunity to drill down even more on a couple things, which is, what are your top priorities and projects if you're elected?
Well, I think one of the things is that we have to, look, I come from Pennsylvania, where the expression is, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. The City Commission hasn't walked the walk. We talk about racial inequity. We talk about the fact that we're a Dickensian tale of two cities. But nothing gets done. Everyone at the City Commission knows that before you set policy to address racial inequity, that you have to do a disparity study that is legally defensible. It's been in the budget. It hasn't been done. So all the chatter, all the talk is worthless. We need to get that study done. We also need to go through a hiring process for the charter officers, where we do competitive searches and we put people in place that have went through a big pool of candidates and have aggressively been vetted. I think that's time to do that. And as I said, I would take actions to try to end the city's commission addiction to GRU customer money. But almost immediately, what we need to do, with the bills being as high as they are, we need to look at the rate stabilization fund that the city has. GRU has about $80 million in rate stabilization funds, and they're there because we have to show strong liquidity to Wall Street so that we don't get rating downgrades. But what good is an A or AA minus rating if the citizens can't pay their bills? So we have to consider releasing some of that funding so we can do means testing for people that are on the brink. We also have to revisit the American Rescue Plan Act monies, where there were $32 million. We could be using that as some relief for folks that can't pay their bills. We have to think outside the box here. And immediately, we need to start reducing the general fund transfer. The other commissioners, Ward and Areola, are crowing about the fact that, well, we're reducing it by $2 million a year. Well, you need to reduce it by over 10 million a year. If you do it by 2, that's still 8 million you're borrowing. So that's nothing to crow about. In fact, it's an indictment of the fact that you're not taking the right action. So they would be the things that I would do.
Okay, very good. Again, another perfect lead in, and I will say Ed has not gotten the questions ahead of time, nor has any of the candidates, but that was a great lead into the next question, which is there has been significant turmoil, both within the commission and with city staff. How do you think that's best addressed?
Well, I think it takes leadership from the mayor. I think that I know all the charters. I was a charter officer for 7 years. I know city staff like no other. In fact, they came to my defense in September or on September 13th at around midnight when I was tried to be fired for the third time. I had over 200 people that said, Ed is a leader. Ed should be here. If anyone should be fired, it should be you, Mayor, or you, the commissioners. So I think I have a lot of support in the rank and file. And I think that's really, really important. So that eases the turmoil by itself. I'm kind of a player's coach. I understand that for all of the importance that people in executive positions think they have, they're nothing without people that actually get the work done. So I've always led from the bottom up, meaning that the person closest to the job is the best person to tell you how to fix that job, how to make it better. So I would try to instill that type of mentality, not only among the charter officers and the staff, but among the commission. I think that we have to get back to being able to disagree. We can disagree, but we don't have to be disagreeable. And it's time to instill that. And frankly, that's one of my strengths is organization, establishing cultures. So I think I'm perfect for that.
Okay. All right. And then we have the final little wrap up question to put a bow on it, which is why should members of the business community vote for you?
Oh, well, I am a businessman. I look at things through a business lens. I still remember, I'll give you the little anecdote, when we had a mission and vision statement for GRU when I came on board, and we worked and we had a consultant, we came in and everyone in the business world has done that type of thing. And we came out and said, you know, it's time for GRU to get down to business. We need to operate like a business. And I brought it before the city commission, and the commissioners, Ward and Areola, looked at me and they looked at me and they said, but GRU isn't a business. It's a city service. We can't do that. And I said, sure you can. That's what we ought to do. And that's what I've tried to do over my 7 years there. I had some success. I had some failures. But absolutely, we have to start thinking of, look, I've walked 12,000 homes in the community. I was walking 26,000 steps a day, talking to people, talking to business people, small business people. They said, it's hard to do business with GRU. It's hard to do business with the city. How do you make it easier? I am all about that. I think that's what we need to do. We don't need blue ribbon committees. We don't need committees that talk a lot. We need to talk about the folks in the organization that know how to streamline, and let's streamline this organization. Let's make it easy for us to bring in businesses that can actually create job opportunities, because that's the one thing you listen to other candidates, they don't talk about job opportunities. They talk about government grants. They talk about legislation. They talk about all these other things. But at the heart of it, I don't think they believe in the American dream. I don't think they believe in job opportunities. I do. I'm a kid that started at the bottom, became an accountant, worked his way up, became a controller, saw how the business world worked, became a general manager, CEO. I believe in this part of the system. Let's let it work.
Very good. Okay, so now you have a couple minutes. That's your time. If you want to summarize or bring out anything that you didn't get to, the floor is yours.
Sure. Well, I think I've said a lot of things. I think that I am showing my dedication, my resolve by getting out there, talking to folks, knocking on 12,000 doors, and I'm hoping that I'm going to knock on another 4,000 or 5,000 more. It gives me the ability to take that information and put it into a plan. And I think that plan is coming together very nicely. I'm encouraged incredibly by the support that I've been shown by the folks that I've talked to. So I'm going forward. This is for real. I'm looking forward to the next part of my life. I would tell folks, this is not Ed's revenge tour. That's one of the questions they asked. They said, well, we know that you got fired, and then we know that you you had some rough times there. And I said, yes, but it only made me stronger. And I'm not somebody that holds grudges. I just want to make the city a better one. I will tell you that when I said I was going to run for mayor, my wife had heard something, and I came home and she said, what did you do? And I said, well, I decided I was running for mayor. And she said, well, you wouldn't have been the man that I married if you hadn't done that. So I'm all in. And as a team, we're all in to make the city better.
Very good. All right. Well, I will just tag on to Ed and say the chamber is very committed to making sure every voice is heard. And so keep an eye on our website. You'll have a lot of information about all our candidates, the deadlines, the things you need to know for our upcoming election, Tuesday, August 23rd. And please get out and vote. Thanks so much, Ed.
Vicki, I want to thank you and the chamber for being so active and supporting this. And I know this is above and beyond your regular duties. So thank you so much for all the things you've done. I'll get you a crazy email at some hour of the night saying, oh my God, did I forget this meeting or that meeting? So thanks for responding, being so thorough. I really do appreciate it. And you did remind me of one thing, and I'm going to say it. There was a point in which the city of Gainesville didn't have a good relationship with the Chamber of Commerce. Mm-hmm. When I brought in Justin Locke, who was my CFO, he was appalled at the relationship that existed there. And I was too. And we have some commissioners that don't think there needs to be a good relationship with the chamber. That's crazy. You are the heartbeat of what the business community is thinking. And if we had had a better relationship, I believe, with the Chamber of Commerce over the years, we might not have lost business to Alachua. We might have a tech park here. I am committed to having a good relationship with the chamber and the businesses that exist there.
We appreciate it, Ed. We like to play with everyone. We like a big sandbox with everyone in it.
Oh, and you brought up that other point. That's why I am purple. I am not blue and I am not red. My wife's an artist, and she told me, she said, well, if you mix blue and you mix red, you get purple. Mm-hmm. And I think we're at a point in this country where we can't be oppositional. We have to be collaborative, and we all have to be purple. And I'm the purple guy.
Thank you so much, Ed. Good luck as you go forward, and we'll see you on August 23rd.
Thank you so much, Vicki. Be good.